hitmen. These are assassins who kill for a living, who are sent to kill Senzo. 5 of them. You know what I'm saying? To go kill a goalkeeper. Like, it's not even that serious.
Dude, that's so weird.
Like what?
It's so
and
weird.
Senzo was a great goalkeeper. I'm a London Pirates fan. He was an okay goalkeeper. You know what I mean? Didn't need 5 assassins after him. Like, what did Senzo do? There must be something dark about Senzo that we don't understand. For him to get
Murdered like that.
One guy can go kill Senzo. It doesn't have to be a big 5 known hitmen. Yeah, that are known for killing taxi drivers. What's good, beautiful people? Welcome to another amazing episode of the POPcast. Today we are coming to you from Cotton Lounge right here in Bryanston. Come through, they got amazing drinks, amazing food. I get my mahodu from here.
Really?
Yeah.
Hi.
Oh,
Look at
you don't think I eat the mahodu?
I never thought. Do you even know how to cook it? Because we
I
know
actually know how to cook it.
we know you can't cook chicken feet, so we're not sure.
Wait, I can cook chicken feet. My chicken feet was delicious. You know
You
what?
definitely came stone lost. We don't know.
But it was delicious. It was just chicken feet because the man played the cheese boy, little cheese girl.
Okay.
So let's not hate on the chicken feet. Of course, I've got my biggest hater right here with me, Miss Cosmo, as per usual. Wow,
I'm
what's
not
up?
your biggest hater. What do you mean?
I was gonna show you love, but this is what it is. She's
and
here
the love
again.
can still arrive. I mean.
And of course, we're joined by our amazing guest, multi-award winning DJ, producer, radio host, Lula Odziber.
Put everything after the Davis.
Can you just break that down a little bit? Where's that from? Like, how did you
So my name ki keletse Bunolo ne at home pizza Bunolo, and Bunolo in Zulu it means Lula because it's easy. Right? And then this one day I was trying to create an Instagram account, Lula Mudiba. And when I logged back on, the M was gone and it was like Lula Odiba. I was like, okay.
How
and
was
then,
the M gone?
I don't know where it disappeared to.
Like while you're typing it.
Yeah, you just gave
I
yourself
think
a new
I
surname.
missed it, you know what I mean? And then put everything after the Diva is actually a line from Nasty C's song from Price City. I forgot what song in particular, but yeah, that's how that name came about.
Shot, amazing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get you into too much trouble. What behaving Yana these days, guys?
Yes.
And I don't like it. I don't like how we behave these days.
No, don't worry. We are keeping it clean.
Absolutely.
Sibo doesn't like keeping it clean, but I mean,
No, I do. Actually, I'm sitting in the middle here. You know, I'm well behaved. Sort of matter of fact, I've got my not radio voice, my presenter voice. You know, I'm gonna the 7 or something. Going straight into some news for this week. First and foremost, we'd like to send RIP to designer Kutera, who unfortunately lost his life to cancer a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
A tragedy, of course, somebody so young, cancer as well. Definitely sending love and condolences to his friends, his family in the industry as well. I know it was a gaping hole, a very, very talented designer.
Yeah, and I think with him, especially when the news kind of broke a few months ago, if I'm not mistaken, about him being down and out and him being sick and you know, there was just like bad press that was kind of going around, and I was just like, why do people always want to come down on somebody when they're not okay? Like that's when the news broke about him being sick and things like that. So obviously his passing now is, you know, coming off of all of that news, but it is really sad. So RIP to his family and to his friends, and I hope he rests in peace. He was very talented. I think everybody knows the dress that he made for Beyonce for Global Citizen. It will always be one of those iconic moments for South African fashion. But yeah, love to the family, man, you know?
Absolutely. And straight from, I guess, more somber news as well, South African artist, of course, Lira, it was reported that while she was performing in Germany in the last week that she unfortunately suffered a stroke. She's said to be recovering, but of course, you know, with the stroke, it comes with a whole bunch of new problems, some of which are affecting her speech, is the only thing that we've been told so far. Which is, of course, a big tragic news, not just for anybody suffering a stroke, but for a performer, somebody who's known for their voice and being on stage. You can imagine how hard it must be right now, so early already, for her to cope with the news.
Yeah, I just feel like strokes are like very present also with young people.
Yeah.
Because I know it to be like when you're older, but like a stroke because it's about to
Yeah.
But now I'm seeing like 20, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds like having strokes and sometimes it being fatal. So our prayers go up to her definitely.
100%. And I think, like you're saying, it's difficult, especially for artists, because we've been through a strenuous time for the past 2 years. Usually, the cause of a stroke is stress. Outside of other factors that might also kind of come into play. But I think the tricky part also was that, wow, she was actually out there. She was in the world. She was in Germany. She was performing. And that kind of happened at a bad time. So it definitely makes you think about the things that some artists have to kind of go through, because you think that they're winning because she's in Germany, she's out there, she's performing, but there's other bigger factors that she's kind of dealing with, and we need to be a little bit more sensitive with people. We need to be more caring of our celebrities that are out there, and obviously just showing love to her and her family, and obviously putting our prayers up. Hopefully she'll be able to get better very soon.
We do hope she'll be able to get better. And I know what you just touched on now about young people getting passing away or suffering from strokes it's become very, not prevalent, but I'm hearing more and more young people. I myself lost somebody a couple of months ago to stroke, and he was just a couple of years older than me. So it's a shock to the system to hear young people suffering from stroke. Bruce Willis announced about a month ago, the family released a statement that he's retired from acting because he suffered something similar and it's affected, sort of stroke, but it's something related to, again, that's taken away his speech, and it has very stroke-like, if I can say.
Like a mild aneurysm of sorts.
You know what I mean? So he himself has now retired from acting because he's not able to speak or anything, and that's one of the things that the stroke takes away. So hearing young people that are performers, suffering from this, and I don't know if there's a bigger conversation to be had. If somebody from a medical perspective is somebody we need to come here and address us, so maybe to let young people know, because it's definitely something that's happening more and more to people in their 30s.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Or early...
I have a colleague actually who suffered a stroke in 2016. She spent 6 months learning to walk, read, and write again.
Whoa. Feeling like a child.
Like a child. And like, can you imagine her frustration wanting to say something that she knows how to say, but is unable to in this moment because of the stroke? And even with her as well, she was in a different country. Do you think that flying has something to do with it?
I don't know if it's flying or what kind of world we're currently living in or what's the, you know what I mean?
The food.
That's what I'm saying. I don't like to speculate. Chicken or beef. I don't know what it is, but something is definitely happening where these diseases that are usually associated with older people are starting to happen more and more to younger people. And like I said, I don't want to sit here and speculate and say, it's this and this, because now we're just becoming conspiracy theorists. Like people on Facebook that say, it's 5G cables. And then, you know what I mean? You go from...
I still don't get that one. You know
what I mean?
They said that caused COVID, bro.
You know what I mean? So we go from suffering tragedies to now spiraling and trying to figure out and find answers, and everybody has their own theories. So like I said, maybe there's a broader conversation to be had. If more information becomes available, I guess we'll try and keep up to it. Ask a few doctor friends of mine as well to see if there's anything out there that we need to be looking out for or be aware of as young people, whether it's lifestyle or otherwise, that we can think to try and understand this a little bit better. Staying with people now, as if I'm gonna talk about people who are not doing well. People who are doing well, rather, segueing into it. Ayanda MVP, I know a lot of radio announcements happen around this time of the year. There's a lot of switcheroos, just like yourself joining Metro FM.
Shout out.
Thank you. Thank you.
And did you enjoy your party?
I did. I enjoyed this whole week. This whole month has just been something else for me. Obviously, joining the station, really blessed to be there. I actually spent my actual birthday on a team building with Metro. So they didn't know, but luckily they came to the occasion and they got me like a young something. So thanks to management for that. But this past week, that's also why my voice is a little bit cracky. I've just been party after party, party after party. But the parties don't end because we still got more for the next 2 weeks. Join me.
Crazy.
And yourself, your journey on radio, I know you are also on Y.
Yeah.
And how long have you been on Y? For those who don't know.
3 years. I'm going on to my 4th now.
Yeah.
I started in 2019. And I started off on weekend. Gets a 1,000 per show, bro. Things are bad. I'm sure it was, at first it was 650 per show.
Oh my goodness.
And then it got better and better and better. I know, dude, but I was like not contracted at the time.
Right, you were just popping in and out.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I was saying the other day that I used to listen to MVP on Y when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And I always thought she was the coolest. Then she went to 947, and now I have a show right after her. So like, this is kick-ass.
This is so
You
dope.
see how those stars align.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ayanda MVP, of course.
So proud
Is
of
it
her. So
hard,
proud.
you know, for you guys on radio? Because they do these rotations every year. You know what I'm saying? You know that you have to
Yeah.
step up. Your show has to be hot. You have to be relevant. Can you feel it like, because I know there's no guarantees, where you can be like, I know I'm going to get another contract. Or it's like, anything can happen, bro.
The thing is, anything can honestly happen.
Yeah.
You can really feel like you've got the hottest show out right now, and then management comes to you in March, and they're like, not actually pro, you know?
Or you have a Kutera kind of situation where 1 year on Drive, which is it's a huge thing for the station because we haven't had a female host for Drive. She did it for 1 year, and not that management didn't fuck with the show, but she was like poached from a different station. They're like, we think that she'll do better here, and she left. You see,
Right.
so it's also unpredictable in the sense that you don't know, as an anchor yourself, you don't know what opportunities lie. I could be called to Metro tomorrow, you know what I'm saying, and it's all up to me if I choose to accept the offer, if I want to stay and things like that. But the management thing as well, like Ms. Cosmo said, it's crazy, dog. Yeah.
But you know what? I wouldn't necessarily put it all on like they don't like you, so they're gonna push you out. No, there's a bigger thing that comes into play here. There's numbers. There's, are you reaching your targets? Are you arriving on time? Are you doing your live reads? There's so many like different mechanics that come into play. And if you play your part and you do your show and your numbers increase, you'll be fine. Just do your job. That's actually the main part. Just do your job. You'll have a job. If you don't do your job, it might be tricky. That's it.
I actually wanted to ask you because you like a big DJ, right? And you worked weekend on 5.
Yeah.
How often did you miss work?
She makes it work. It's a workhorse, this one.
Wow.
I'm saying, because
of
he's
your
a
gigs,
machine.
You know what? I did miss a couple of shows, but it's also according to how you want to weigh it up. So you also decide, okay, is whatever I'm missing it for worth the money that I'm going to lose? Because I mean, as a freelancer, no work, no pay. So if you don't come into radio, you're not getting paid for that show. So you weigh it up, you weigh up the odds, you decide, okay, what's actually the situation? Do I have another gig? Is it going to earn more? Or does it help my brand? Or is it something where you're like, I can actually move the times around and then say, okay, let me rather play after the show. So I always try to prioritize the show and then rather play in and around those times. But if it was completely out of it, then I would then weigh it up and then say, okay, maybe I need to take this gig because it's gonna yield something else for me afterwards. So you just kind of, play it around that way.
I asked that because I find like being a DJ and especially working at night and having a show at night, like it could, lead to you not coming to work often and then ultimately not being renewed because of that very fact.
Exactly. So that's why you need to then prioritize and say how important is whatever else you're taking over the show. Because at the end of the day, the show is also your platform.
Yeah.
So you might sit back and be like, I'm earning peanuts. I'm going to earn more money at this other gig. Sure, but then do you want to do that at the risk of your platform? Because if you don't have your platform, you're
not
going to
get the gigs. True.
So that's where I always kind of weigh it up and
Balance.
then I say, you know what I mean? Because you also don't want to lose your listeners, because when you're not on and you've got to stand in, it's awkward now because then the listeners are like, I'm not going to tune in today
they won't
because you're not
listen.
there.
Yeah.
But now you don't want that to be consistent because then they're going to say, but you're not consistent. Why should I be consistent? Then you're losing listeners.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
I get
so you weigh up the odds.
I guess it's all about
It
balance in the
becomes
other
tricky.
day.
But I didn't say congrats. Congrats, MVP.
Congrats, MVP.
The number one
Shout out to
player. And I think it is a long time coming for her because she
Yeah.
has been doing radio for such an amazing time. Like you mentioned, when she was on the MVP zone. And her moving to 947, I think, was a good move because it also kind of put her in a different space from a radio perspective where people started to look at her in a different light. And that's why she's able to come back and immediately do Drive. Because I don't think if she had moved, it would have been immediate for her to get that Drive show. But she made that much of an impact on 947 for her to return back and be much stronger for why. And I think it's an amazing move. I really think she's at she's just like peaking on her career right now. And I think it's just going to do wonders for her. And I'm always supportive of her. So shout out.
Shout out, I am the MVP. And I actually want to touch on what you said going into our next topic, because you spoke about how you were in high school and you used to listen to the MVP and now you do a show just before hers. You know
After
what I'm saying?
her, yeah.
Somebody else who had put out a post last night was Blackie, speaking about his experience of Cotton Fest, which is what I want to talk about right now. And he was talking about how the first Cotton Fest, he couldn't get in.
Oh,
he didn't have tickets. He spent hours outside, didn't have money to come in. You know, it was one of those, this is our vibe. Though. Of course, they love Ricky, especially, the young ones. So he'd come to show love and he was just hoping for the best, him and his boys, but they couldn't get in for hours. and now to be asked by Ricky, like you're saying, to please close this year's Cotton Fest. I mean, that type of, this is the third annual Cotton Fest. We know, of course, because of COVID, it was stopped. Otherwise, we'd be on our fifth one, I rate. But how great is that rise for him to be the guy who's been told by Ricky, I actually want you to come close the show. With 3 years, you couldn't even get in.
Imagine.
That's amazing.
That's also testament to Blackie's hard work. It's also testament to his music. It's testament to him being an amazing artist. And if you just push and put yourself in the right places, you'll definitely achieve it, because he has many stories like that. I mean, I remember even when I had interviewed him, there was a conversation when we interviewed him on Pop Radio with Scoop. He had spoken about how there was an event that he was trying to get into, and he was and Nasty was performing, and somehow he snuck in backstage. So he wasn't supposed to be there.
Oh, wow.
And then everybody else was there, like, yo, trying to get a picture with Nasty. And he was like, nah, my time will come with this guy. As time goes on, they've met each other through other mutual friends, and that's how he got onto Yeah.
Wow.
So for him, he was just like, he'd always looked up to Nasty. He was that guy he wanted to work with. And then his biggest hit single.
Damn.
Nasty.
That's amazing.
So it's just testament to the type of artist that Blackie is, and you know, he's going to keep on rising.
Yeah.
Nah, it's absolutely beautiful to hear that. And Cotton Fest, I mean, you guys both popped in there at different times during the event. How did you find this year's festival?
But Lula wasn't
was
popping
there.
in. She was there.
Oh, yes, of course, yeah.
But my feet are killing me.
You guys were
right
broadcasting
now.
from there
My
and everything.
feet are so. I wasn't broadcasting, I was emceeing.
Right.
So for me, because you know, Ricky came to the studio and asked me to come MC. And this was 5 days before he left us, right? So you know, that whole conversation, I thought it was like just a put on, you know what I mean? And then I remember that's what Ricky was all about.
Yeah.
And I was so like, I'm feeling so grateful to be one of the last recipients of that energy that he imparted on young people. And I think that's why they put me on the main stage, because I thought they're gonna put me on Jägermeister, Opera stage.
Yeah.
Now they put me on the main stage, and I came through. I'm not gonna lie. I had to do. I mean, even your team was saying that, you know, they saw me 2 days. I tried my best to kill it. I treated it like a fashion show, dude. Like I said, award ceremony. I changed the outfits. I was giving Grammys, but the performances were absolutely impeccable. I saw that they cut off AREECE last night, which made me a little bit confused, because he was literally closing the show, and I think he was on his last 2 songs, and they just shut everything down.
You know what?
It was a timing thing.
I think it's a timing thing, but also outside of it being a timing thing, I think you must remember when a festival is being put on, they've also got a certain amount of time according to JOC.
Yeah.
JOC is basically this regulation that events need to kind of stick to say, if you're open at 12, you need to close at a specific time. If the time we give you is midnight, you must be done at midnight. Whether you like it or not, you know? So the cops were there, they were obviously then doing their job to then say, whatever happens at this time, we're closing. However, I do think that there was a time delay because the performances were also delaying on stage, so the running order was constantly changing.
Right.
So whoever was late on the main stage, obviously then that trickled down towards the end of the night. So if AREECE was cut, it was maybe because he was cut because there was time delays with the actual stage management, but also over and above that, the cops were just like, hey, time is up, gotta go.
It must
so
have been.
obviously the fans are gonna look at it like, Confest is hating on AREECE. Hey, no one's hating on nobody. Regulations are regulations. That's just what it is.
But shout out to Cotton Fest, man. They put on a really dope one. And of course, this was the first time they did 2 days.
Yeah.
And created the entire festival weekend versus just the one. So hopefully we'll see it go from strength to strength. And both days being just as powerful.
Yeah.
Because, you know, people sometimes, it wasn't a holiday on Sunday. So people, most people want to come on the one big day. You know, it's like going to a festival all the weekend. They want to pick that one day in the middle or the weekend day. But I know that even the Sunday people pulled up.
Lula, what was your favorite performance? Because you were there.
Yo,
both
Lady
days.
Do.
Really?
I know, it's surprising, right?
Yeah.
She's so impeccable on stage, dude. Like, from harmonizing to the dancing to the stamina of it all. Her backup dancers, like she's
got a Beyonce thing happening.
Dude, like, she's crazy. She didn't miss a beat. And obviously, she's got an amazing catalog. So just like, she sounds very like gospel-y. So it made me feel like I'm at home, you know what I mean? Because I grew up in a Christian home, and just hearing her like sing like that and dance like that, I was super, super dope. AKA was pretty dope as well. Like, his performing is just, it's really dope, you know what I'm saying? I also liked
I heard Trail put on a very dope performance.
So Cho was also really, really dope. Daliwonga was also such a gentleman. Big shout out to Daliwonga as well. But yeah, those are some of my favorite. What about you?
I wasn't there on the Saturday, so I only came Sunday. And for me, obviously, I can only attest to the ones that I had seen. I really enjoyed Kamumpela to the point where she put on like production. And the thing is, if you know Kamumpela, when you book her maybe just to like a normal gig, it's usually her and she comes to like 2 other dancers or 3 other dancers. But whenever it comes to like big stages, she always puts it all in. And we all know, like with Cotton Fest, everybody came through to show love to Ricky. So it's not as if like she was really like getting paid to have all those people. But you know, when you put in that effort to then say, no matter what, I'm still going to bring my performance because I'm doing it for this guy. She had about 17 dancers.
She did.
And mind you, everybody had like 15 minutes on stage. So the fact that you can come together and say, I'm going to rock for this 15, 20 minutes that you're giving me, she was impeccable. The production was great. And I think everybody also loved it. So Kamu, definitely one of my favorites. I also saw Big Zulu. I really enjoyed.
That was fun to watch.
I really enjoyed. The thing is, do you know what I love about Big Zulu is that he's so unassuming.
Yeah.
And I think when you see him, you're just like, oh shit, okay, this is okay, you know. So that's what I like. I like the surprise elements that Big Zulu kind of comes through with. So I really enjoyed him as well.
Someone else who was really, really dope, and I must send a big shout out to Costa Titch.
Yeah.
He did a real tribute performance. I even saw him get emotional on stage when he had this one part where Ricky was rapping like the bars to the one hit song, and I saw him get emotional. Like it was almost like he was there with him.
I think it was the AREECE.
That one. And he too also almost 20 dancers on stage. And at the end he had like these plaques that said we die, we multiply.
Oh, was that his performance?
It was his performance. Yo, dude, like it really, really moved me. And I think he's like that one performer in the whole country because he's a dancer. He will have like his song and he'll chop it up into little pieces that move with the movement. You know what I mean? Like they go with his dancing and it's so deliberate and intentional. Everything about his performance is intentional and I want to send a big shout out to him. Incredible work ethic. That guy's gonna go really far.
Yeah, definitely. I think stage presence, mad. The performers, mad. The dancers, mad. I'm not giving Sipho a chance, don't worry.
Why? What's going on here?
I don't understand what's going on here. I don't even know what Miss Cosmo is all about.
I'm not giving Sipho a chance because I want this to be about giving love. Costa, we are giving you flowers.
We love you, Costa.
That performance
and I'd like to send some love as well to Costa. You know what I'm saying? I know Ricky was one of the artists that put him on the most. So to hear how much love he gave to Ricky on that stage is amazing. And it's great when you speak about performance, the guys who are dancers and musicians at the same time, their performances are always very, very important because they understand how to get the crowd moving. It's more than just lyrics. Just like Kamumpela, you just said. So I expect him to bring the energy and I'm glad that he did.
Yeah, no, Costa, impeccable.
Impeccable.
Also, I also want to give a big shout out to the production team because that thing is that thing is a machine.
Yeah.
From arriving to the shuttles to where you're going to buy food, where you're going to get drinks.
Yeah.
Everything was just thought out to the T.
Even like the stage, like artwork for each artist, like every artist was so deliberate in what they were showing on screen. Most of the artists as well, especially the ones that had collaborations with Ricky, they'd have the clip of like him just rapping and then you'll see all of them just kind of get emotional. Even during the tribute to Ricky, it was almost like he was gonna hop on stage, dude. It was so bizarre. Like it was so bizarre because they'd show him performing at the Cotton Fest stage, like from 2020, and they'd show the video on screen. Like I was waiting for him to pop up. Like
oh yes,
so crazy.
And there was that moment where his brother Temba actually wore that famous Ricky outfit with the furry hat, his fur jacket, and those cargo pants and the Timberlands. And he wore that exact same outfit to embody his brother and to pay tribute to him. And to see that moment as well, you can imagine what that emotionally what has done, not just for him, but for everybody on there. And I know they jumped there with these boys. I thought that was a really, really special moment and very well thought out, deliberate thing. You know, so
and also big shout outs to Temba for the cuts to do that.
Yeah.
Because Temba's not an artist.
Absolutely.
So for him, like jumping on stage has always been like a, background vibe. Like I'm just vibing with my brother. So for him to actually be like owning it the way that Ricky did it, I thought it was so emotional just to even see like the footage, man. Like Cotton Fest was just impeccable.
Absolutely,
impeccable.
Man. Shout out to the entire team of Cotton Fest. And then just to close off our news, DSTV announced recently that they're going to be hosting the first annual Content Creator Awards.
Yes.
As content creators ourselves,
Yes.
existing on this platform, YouTube, of course, this is a dope thing to see happen.
Yes.
This progression was, I guess, inevitable. You know what I'm saying? It was only a matter of time before somebody jumped on it. We spoke about the Amapiano Awards and how botched they were. It's good to see that a brand like DSTV, we can expect some level of professionalism. But what I really want more than anything, because as soon as I heard, I was like, dope. I knew it was going to happen eventually. It's great to see there's a big brand behind it. But I hope that it's content creators themselves that are really center stage here and the ones that are made to drive these awards. Because it's very easy to say you want to show love to content creators, but then the people that you put forward,
It's just clouds.
you know, I don't want it to be filled with SA celebrities, you know what I mean? I
Just
don't want it to be
clout.
SA celebrities trying to take from or act as
Yeah.
if they're the ones who put content creators on. I want it to be content creator led. I want it to be hosted by a content creator.
That's a
I
good
don't-
point.
You know what I mean?
That's a good
I don't want to see SA celebrities anywhere near these things. There must,
But what-
there must
what
be
if-
invited guests in the background.
What if the celebs are content creators? I mean, let's
No,
say is
they've-
a celeb, but
no.
he's a content creator.
But there's content creators that grew to become celebrities. Those people can be the one people who to show the industry love and be like, yeah, let's say like a Senzo, for example, who's
Yes.
now broken through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Started off as a content creator, but now is one of the a big celebrity in the country. But he comes from that. He was made by content creation by the internet.
Yomi
I don't want to
Khalis,
see
you
people
know?
who are celebrities who are now benefiting from content creation being the ones pretending as if they're the ones who grew the industry.
Like-
They are not. They should not have any sort of spotlight here. Content creators must be center stage. Celebrities must be invited guests.
You don't
Wow.
want to see a boy TMC.
Nothing.
Why can't
I'll switch that thing off. I don't want to, there are content creators who can host. Many of them host their own shows. That's the reason why they became so big. So they must be entrusted with. I know it's difficult because how do you balance a content creator and also make them a part of the awards? You know what I'm saying? So I
But
know
they
there's
can
a
be
fine balance.
guests. They can be guests.
There's a fine balance between.
What about musicians that now make their hit songs viral on TikTok? Those are content creators, no?
Yes, they are. But understand what I'm trying to say is that people who are being rewarded here, or who must get a light shine on them, are people who are born from the internet.
Yeah.
That's where you must be. That's all. Doesn't matter how big you are right now.
Okay, so
but your internet, and we know what the difference is. We know people that we discovered online that were doing this thing on Instagram, doing it on YouTube, doing it on TikTok, that have now grown to be very big artists or whatever.
Yeah.
But we know people we can look at and say, oh yeah, this person is built from it.
But for as long as you're on social media, are you not a content creator?
Yes, we all are right now. But it's
Yeah.
very easy to overlook content creaters, people who use the
actually-
internet as a tool,
yeah,
and then
make a living.
and say, oh, we can use a celebrity who's now become a big TikToker. It's not the same thing.
Not the same thing.
You know what I mean?
I
I,
hear
feel like
that,
it's
I
very
hear that.
important to just. Cooper Barbie, for example, is somebody who was born on social media.
Yeah, but-
yes, now she's a national phenomenon, but she's somebody who grew on TikTok, who started dancing, and it grew from that to become. See, that's somebody else who we can say that's somebody who's birthed from the internet and used TikTok as a tool to introduce her talent. And maybe we didn't even know she was a musician at the beginning. She's just somebody who said, you know what,
Yeah.
let me grow and see where this popularity takes me and monetize it. And music was her angle.
Dude, I'm struggling with the content creation, dude. Hey,
Yeah.
I will do what I do and shoot some good stuff, but I just like the reception of it all is so shaky. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Do you know what the thing is?
What is it?
And I realized, because I have the same issue, and I think this is what Sipo's actually talking about, is that there's some people who are born for traditional media, and there's
Yeah.
some people who are born for the internet.
Yeah.
You, my darling,
I'm
are
born for
traditional media.
Yo,
And that's why it's not
so
working.
hard. It's not working, dude. I'll shoot.
I'm the same. I struggle.
Dude,
TikTok, I
I'll
struggle.
do the lesbian content, bro. You know what I mean? Bro, and it doesn't work.
You know what you should do?
What must
with
I
it?
do?
Is literally just be yourself and have fun with it. I don't think you should look at it as why is this thing not getting to a
Yeah.
certain level?
Yeah.
Because at least you can say, you on traditional media is your platform, and you a professional who does that. I don't think having it migrate or translate into like, why is my TikTok not popping the way
Yeah.
it should? Why is my Instagram shouldn't bother you at all? I think what you should concentrate on, and I say this to a lot of people who are struggling to that, is just collaboration. So when you yourself are struggling to like, by myself I can't do it, then you can reach out to your favorite TikToker, your favorite, and be like, you know what? Let's do something together. You know what I'm saying? Come to my show. Let's do a little piece of content together. If you have any idea, hit me up. Then
that's actually good advice,
Then
yeah.
they'll be the people who be like, actually, I have something that I think will work dope for you. Let's do it together. Collaboration is the best way to grow online. So you should rather collaborate with existing content creators that you love already and show them love back. And then you can be like, when you guys come through the studio, let me come through to you. Let's see if we can do something fun together.
Yeah, I started
That-
doing this thing and I got such backlash on Twitter for it. where I'd like find these beautiful, because I'm trying to be a sex symbol, right?
Yeah.
Because there aren't many
Shout out,
lesbians
shout
in the
out,
game.
shout out.
There aren't enough lesbians in the game. I think Karabo Poppy is killing it.
Yeah.
There's also Courtney Paul, but in the media industry, it's like Courtney.
Yeah, no, she corrected us. It's Courtney.
Oh, Courtney. Yeah. There's mostly gay men.
Yes.
But not many
Lesbians,
lesbians.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm trying to be the sexy one. You understand?
Right.
So I started doing this thing where I find like a very hot girl in the game. I started off with Mihlali. Met her at Leslie's house, the Les. And I took a video with her. I was like, I'm going to ask you something on the camera. And then you let me know if I can post it, right? So I say to her, so what would it take to turn you gay? So she starts screaming. She's like, oh my God, I'm kind of bi-curious, blah, blah. Posted on Twitter. They're like, oh, it's always the lesbians that are trying to convert, blah, blah, blah. But the main issue was that my phrasing, what would it take to turn you gay? Right? They're like, if it was a straight man asking a lesbian, what would it take to turn you straight? It would be a problem. But anyway, what I'm saying is I started shooting with Nadia in the car, asking her pretty much the same thing, changing my words, you know what I mean? And that seems to be working, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
that's so dope.
Operation Sex Symbols, oh boy.
So please make sure you know.
I even got tattoos on my chest.
Oh
boy.
my gosh.
I'm taking it seriously.
I don't think
She's not playing.
No, she's not playing because I've actually seen her videos. Like she even posted like her bra just to make sure Guti, you're seeing the body. She's got the Kabudira thing happening. I'm like, oh, baby girl, taking it all the way to the top. I'm for it. You know,
I too am trying to venture into being a sex symbol myself.
But I think this
one
is
by
where,
one I will convert them.
This is where we stop. This is where we stop.
Why can't I be a sex symbol? It's never too late.
I mean, you've
Boba Lome can also enter the sex symbol game.
Because Maluma, you've already given yourself to Mjolo. You've given yourself to Mjolo
Yeah,
content.
you've
And once you've
committed.
given yourself to Mjolo content, that's where we want to see you. We don't want
that's
to see
true.
you converting
Nah,
other
but
people.
one by one you're gonna see. First I'm gonna go into a vest. After a vest I say topless. I'm gonna transition slowly.
Really?
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on under this body.
Malume. Malume.
As a public figure, because you're never like public about your relationships. I'm talking about the romance.
Yeah.
Do you do that because of your brand? Like, are you trying to come across as single so you're more sellable? Because you know how Chola.
It's
like,
a real thing.
It's a real thing. Like, nakia Chola mara never talk and then I keep posting kaya.
Sure.
Is that the same for you?
Okay, I'm not trying to be a sex symbol, babes.
But you're
I work
sexy.
M1. Thanks.
You see, you're sexy, so you know what I mean? How Chola machita to?
Scam a bomba, please. You don't need.
Simple like,
Don't leave me with
a
this
problem. No, for me, it's more about like I just want the work to speak for itself. It's really got nothing to do with I need to appear as what. I really don't care about those things. For me, it's really I just want a certain portion of my life to be private. Okay. And I want to enjoy it private because then I want to post all over again. Hey, did you see they broke up? Hey, did you see they removed each other on Instagram? Did you see what?
So even if you date someone famous, are you gonna keep it private?
I'll never date anyone famous.
Because
Again.
Oh.
I'm asking. It's a question.
Again.
Hectic.
Is there something you know that I don't know
So
that
you never dated someone famous?
No. I'm not trying
Pretty
to.
blind in this Cosmo.
I will never. I will ngisebenza clubbing. Kunezinto eziningi engibonayo. I see so many things happening in the dark and I say, yabola. It's not for me, this one. I'm not doing it. I'm not subscribing, no.
I know we veered off a little bit, but we'll be keeping a close eye on the Content Creator Award when they come out. I know there's a whole bunch of categories around it. I already saw something that gave me a problem that said it must be content that has gone viral. Already the wedding is starting to be problematic. I don't know where DSTV is going with this, but I think it's going to be a pushback as well as a compromise that needs to get made. It's the first one. I know there'll be teething issues, but hopefully, like I said, they bring a lot of people that actually are in content around the table to help them break through. And so that I don't want it to be just a lot of hate. I'm letting you my the things that I'm worrying about off the bat right now, but I hope that they take those things seriously and really give it the effort it deserves, because a lot of people get overlooked. And if it's about shining a light, then we must shine a light properly. But shout out to them, because again, a big brand like that getting involved in it is exactly what we need. I hope there's Chankura involved.
Yeah, it's South Africa. I don't know about that one. But hey, let's get our flowers, man. I think that's what's important.
Let's move on to our topic today. Last week on our episode, we touched lightly. I know Miss Cosmo does a segment called Real Views, where she normally goes into depth about a certain show that she's watching.
Yeah.
Last week we stopped her because she wanted to touch on the Senzu Meyiwa documentary.
Oh, why did you stop her?
Because I was like, you know what? I want us all to talk about it.
Yes.
Oh, you hadn't seen it?
Yeah, no, I had seen it already, but I didn't want her to keep it as a short segment. I was like, let's make it a broader topic and see where we can go. Because I know it's something that has captivated South Africans for quite some time now.
Especially with the case that had dropped this past, but the case was happening this past week. It obviously kind of raises the conversation again. It raises the conspiracies. It raises a lot of hearsay about what actually happened. And I think it was very intentional for the producers to drop the documentary
just before the
in
trial.
time to say, oh, the trial is what date? Let's move. You know, also just so that you can also get a different eye and a different light on what you think compared to what's going to actually transpire in court. So, Lula, have you seen it?
I have.
Who do you think did it?
I think it's the wife.
Why?
Because she had all the things to gain.
She gained nothing.
She gained...
When the will came out, there was not much for her.
Didn't they say that she got benefits?
Yes,
She got
there's some
financial-
payout that
Yeah,
came
she got a
There was a
payout.
with
payout,
Safa
but I
or
think-
Orlando Pirates at the time.
And also remember, Kelly, that man was not hers anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe she was on some, if I can't have him, nobody can.
Hey.
Longway also, I'm not sure about Longway. Because like, how are you running out and they're letting you go? And how is it that your phone is inside, but then when you're outside, your phone was flat and you're trying to call people? His story just doesn't klangana. And also, why can't we find him on social media? But he's in Lesotho. Why did he leave?
Actually.
You know what I mean?
Long way. Everybody, first of all, that documentary didn't need to be 4 episodes long.
What did you
That
think?
thing,
Like 2?
They should have just made it 2 episodes
Or a movie.
an hour and a half. Because they kept repeating the same footage. It's just this guy talking. That journalist also, I don't know if people know, like, also has been a lot of contradictions about him, a lot of controversies around him. Everybody there is a suspect. First of all, according to the documentary, they take their time. They take their time, and then they say, and by the way, Miss Cosmo, and then they take you on this journey about how Miss Cosmo could have done it. By the way, Zibo, then they go on this journey. You know, they're trying to look like they're being
Objective,
not, unbiased and all that,
yeah.
and say, oh, okay, we're going to tell you the story in its entirety and let you decide. Sharp, I can respect that angle, but according to the information that they've given us, there's too much going on for me.
There's
You know what I'm
way
saying?
too much.
There's hitmen. These are assassins who kill for a living, who are sent to kill Senzo. 5 of them. You know what I'm saying? To go kill a goalkeeper. Like, it's not even that serious.
Dude, that's so weird.
Like what?
It's so
and
weird.
Senzo was a great goalkeeper. I'm a London Pirates fan. He was an okay goalkeeper. You know what I mean? Didn't need 5 assassins after him. Like, what did Senzo do? There must be something dark about Senzo that we don't understand. For him to get
Murdered like that.
One guy can go kill Senzo. It doesn't have to be a big 5 known hitmen. Yeah, that are known for killing taxi drivers. Guys who, when they were interviewed, they're like, tell me who will be alive in December if you guys are going to continue blaming me for this. Like, those guys are about that kill life. For them to just walk into a house, where's Senzo, pew, 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 and then just, I mean.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
It's weird.
Who do you think did it?
The 2 people who witnessed the murder, they also did. Or who witnessed the people running out,
dude,
apparently.
like, that's so weird
The ones
also.
who told police, yeah, these guys ran out, they're also dead now.
Dude.
Weird as hell. Me, definitely, Chico-san, suspect number 1 for me.
Wow.
It makes logical sense.
Yes.
He was fighting with A, B, and C.
Yeah.
This entire thing about him keep making people keep quiet, a fight that broke out, that would shock people. You can imagine if you're sitting in a house and a fight breaks out amongst us, you know what I'm saying? And I pull out a gat and I shoot you. For the people witnessing it, it's shocking. They're not gonna be like, wow, run out. If I have a gun and somebody just got shot, I may relax a little bit and want to hear this guy out with the guy with the gun. You know what I'm saying? I may take instruction from the person with the gun, you know what I'm saying? Especially because there's so many ladies in the house who are not gonna jump and like try and kill this guy. A very big shocking thing has just happened that you've never witnessed before. That could silence everyone. And because once you silence everybody, they become part of the lie. Because when they immediately decide, I'm not going to speak to the police, you now become part of the problem. Because you can immediately silence them. The only time that thing can be broken is immediately. I'm not going to keep quiet. I'm going to tell the police the minute they walk through the door. If I miss that opportunity, I become part of the lie.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I've lied to the police. Now it's what you call this obstruction of justice. Everybody is now guilty of so much, especially after the fact. How long has it been now? So many
8
years.
years.
You know what I mean?
8 years.
It's 8 years now.
2014.
4 years.
Well, it's going on almost a decade of this.
Dude.
So the people there have gotten even more guilty over time. And the amount of times that they've lied to
And it's
everybody.
Like, why are they protecting whoever did it?
Because Barolonge was Kelly's drug dealer, first of all.
Oh.
And apparently it's an open secret within even around the police. Because the one theory that came out immediately after this happened, that it was been suppressed a lot, and it was introduced in the documentary itself, that Longwe was Kelly's drug dealer.
Wow.
He had a fight with the sister, with Senzo or whatever.
No, but Longwe was dating Kelly's
The sister.
Yes, but he was Kelly's drug dealer.
And remember, Senzo didn't want Longwe to hang out with them, right?
Exactly.
He didn't want him around.
Absolutely.
And now, because the girlfriend was with them, he's basically not allowing Longwe to see his hand. And now, obviously, he's a star. All of this. It might have been jealousy.
Look, I also think at the end of the day, this thing was a mistake.
Yes.
You think it was a mistake? It seems like a hit, dude.
No, I don't think it was a hit. I think.
So you don't think those people were in the house shooting?
And they killed him
hitmen,
dead.
those hitmen were not there. They don't know this guy. They don't even know each other. They
It was
met
the
each
day
other
after
at
the
court.
match.
They met each other at court. Those 5 hitmen. Let's also start there. Those guys don't know each other.
Yeah.
Now, my theory, I'm steering towards Longwe because of the fight and him being kept away from the sister and whatever the case is. I do think it was a mistake because there was a scuffle in the house and then someone had a gun and then it went off. It was an accident. I don't think it was a hit.
Sure.
Because in the one episode, you hear Kelly saying, hey, she tells the truth in the first phone call. And she says, no, there was a scuffle, there was a fight. He was trying to break it up. When they're saying that,
shot.
they're making it like
it
happened.
mistake.
It was a mistake. They're not saying, oh, these people came in because bebafuna yena.
Wow,
you
you're actually
understand?
right. You're actually
So
right.
if you listen to the wording, you'll hear the truth come out in those few little sentences and how they portray it in the beginning. Before then, they all kind of scuffle together to then say, oh no, this is actually the lie we're gonna go with. And then now there's loopholes everywhere because now everybody's lying, but they're lying incoherently.
But like Senzo's best friends, how could they even keep the secret?
This
They don't
best
owe
friend
anything.
situation.
They don't owe anything to Longwe.
Best
I
friend
think they were
situation. It's
threatened.
the Senzo had
I think they were threatened.
had
Yo,
become
and
so
now-
successful. He just went and got his friends from guys that he sees every now and then, show them the life. But it's those guys that never left the hood. This got the BFFs that spend all their time together. Also, like that's how you get people who also have nothing to lie and join in. You know what I mean? Like these guys have now, like if you keep it quiet, somebody will get something. Or if you talk, we're gonna say you are the main cause of this. Like it's easy to scare people in a situation like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's something that started off as an accident that grew to a lie that a lot of people now can't control anymore.
Yeah.
And the worst part about it, that if you think about it being an investigator, this is like I say dream case where there's something like this has happened for you to figure out and put the pieces together.
And it's high profile.
You know what I mean? It's
Like,
high
you
profile.
want
You'd
it.
love to solve that type of case. That's why from the beginning, hearing the story about the police were bribed to botch the case. That's why you see them come 8 years later with the scenario that's just like ludicrous to me.
But that's why I'm saying, this hitman story is a lie.
Exactly.
Number one, because firstly, they don't know each other. They all met each other in court. Now they're crying because they're getting beaten up. Hey, you're a hitman. Mele Bakshai. Anyway, outside of that, I think the reason also why, what's his name? Is it Beirut? F4? Yeah, I think why they got involved and into this case as much as they did, for them, I think it was more of a, let's also unpack how the police are getting involved. It's not really for them. I don't think it's really about Senzo. I think for them, they're trying to say, but why are so many people getting involved? Why are the cops getting involved? Why are so many people covering it up? Let's also break it up, because for them, I think they're just trying to get the whole, let's expose the police angle. More than it is about, let's actually see who killed Senzo.
Did they had 2 investigating teams?
It's just, guys,
nothingness.
All the eyes were on this case. It's just, even as a private investigator, you'd be like, there's an opportunity for me here to make money, to do something, to do real police work, to find out what happened. Because, first of all, immediately, you have 6 witnesses. Like, everything starts from there. Senzo wasn't killed by himself in the middle of the night. Like, he was killed in front of 6 other people. And we don't know what happened. 6 niggas. Ain't no way, boy.
Crazy, bruh.
A room full of people.
Something is not
Something's
catching
been
water.
up, and they're gonna wrap this case up because now you've got 5 assassins.
Yeah.
One of the assassins came to court saying, "I want justice." When have you known someone who's facing triple
Dude,
murders?
I did not.
There's no, you will never see the light of day ever again. And he comes wearing a
But
t-shirt.
he's still
He
like,
wants
I
justice.
didn't do this one.
I think that's the thing. It's also a clout thing for hitmen.
Yeah.
Because they wanna be like, no, I really did do it.
Yeah.
But now if you're gonna be like pinned on something, he's like, but I actually didn't do it.
Yeah.
I think for him it's also like a conscious thing. Even even though it's weird.
Yeah.
But like they're also gonna. But I can't own this one because I
didn't
really
do
did
this.
this one. I did all these other 10 million ones. I didn't do this one. Let me go. You know, it's tricky. This thing.
It's very, very odd. But
we'll see how it rolls out because they did give another court date.
Yeah.
For the case, so we'll actually see how it either pans through. Hopefully, justice will actually prevail. You know, because that's all we want. I think South Africa wants to put this to bed.
Shame. Even his dad left the earth without getting justice
you know
for
what
his
I mean?
son.
And
That
you can
was
see his
sad.
brother is also desperate for answers.
Yo,
you can see the
dude.
mom also is still like you can tell the anger that she still
broken,
has. She's not like
bro.
calm about it. She's still kind of like, it's like what's going on here. You know what I mean? Like every day to wake up with that and not have peace. Most importantly for Senzo's brother and the mom, and of course his child as well. Yeah, I'm saying you'd want to know what the truth is because I feel like we're far from the truth. There's way too many theories, but I feel like there's one that we should really be focusing on. And somebody needs to go to Lesotho and get got.
And get collected.
You know what I mean? Collect that nigga tonight. That's some tough questions, my brother. All right, straight into some music that came out this week. Flaming Hot. Kabza the Small released a new EP, 4 songs in it. Ziwangele. I don't know if you've had a chance to bump it.
No, I haven't.
I don't know if
Ziwangale.
you couldn't fest. Well,
My brother, Ziwangale.
Ziwangale. When I say Ziwangale,
Yeah, I don't know what
did you say Ziwangale?
Ziwangale. Ziwangale.
Ziwangale is the name of the thing, not Ziwangale. My bad, y'all. I was really reading it as Ziwangale.
Yeah. My brother, Sipo. Hey,
Actually,
look at you.
Well, I guess that's the name now. Shit.
Ziwangale.
Ziwangale. I bumped it a few times, and it wasn't what I was expecting from Kabza. It had a more, I don't know what genres now, they're confusing me.
Yeah.
Whether it's leaning more towards a kwaito sound or it's more of a house sound, more than it is a piano sound.
It's got a collaboration with a bit of boom happening in there.
Wow.
There's no, just the one single.
Oh.
So the EP has got 4 different songs, definitely more piano. More piano leading towards like house.
Yeah.
But the single itself, and it's because it's got Tira, it's got Dladla Mshungisi, it's also got there's a couple of other young standards also on there. So because it's got a lot of artists, it also starts to sound a bit busy. I remember we had spoken about Mlando.
Yes.
And I had mentioned about, okay, but there's also too many
things.
moving parts. And sometimes
Yeah.
you want a song to be simple. So the actual, the lead single for the EP, I mean, I can see the direction they're trying to take. Maybe I need to listen to it a couple of more times. But because there's a lot of moving parts, I'm still trying to make sense of the song itself. However, the rest of the EP, very clean, typical Kabza, you know, doing his thing. Obviously, I mean, we love him because he's the king of piano.
Yeah.
I love Kabza. One of my favorite people in the country. Just looking at Kabza, looks like he's having a good time. You want to look at someone and say, I know this guy is having a good time.
Got a hectic
You know what I mean? He's got, I mean,
wow,
a cruiser face of
Lula.
life.
Wow,
Let's
wow,
call it what it
hectic
is.
Kuza face.
Wow.
You can see my man loves his drinks.
Yeah, he enjoys
That
his
man,
liquor,
that man
man.
likes 2 things. He likes piano and he likes drink. No doubt about it. I love his fashion sense as well. But I love Kabza, man. And I think every time it's piano, you know what it is. It takes me several listens. I got to see the TikTok video. I have to, you know, this dance music. I need to usher my way slowly into it. But Kabza definitely a guy who can do no wrong, in my opinion. Like I said, the initial sound of this thing caught me a little bit off guard. I think I've been used to hearing him make I don't know if I'm gonna call it a popular,
Commercial?
a more commercial piano sound. You know what I'm saying? Where he has these burners or the Caspers, them Kumbinis, you know what I mean? Which I think is the greatest song of all time or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Up for debate, but not really. But shout out to Kabza. Go and listen to Ziwangale and let us know what you guys think.
Thanks, my brother, Sipo.
Cypher, please.
Oh.
Another dope song that came out spoke about Cotton Fest, and of course, Youngster CPT had a single that he put out called Dear Ricardo,
Okay.
where he's paying tribute to his relationship and the memory of Ricky Rick. As a lot of people have been doing, he decided to put pen to paper and put it all in a song. And I like a few things about the song. One, he's showing love as somebody who knew Ricky and respected Ricky, but without trying to seem as if he was Ricky's BFF. I don't know if I'm making sense. You know what I mean?
So it was an authentic depiction of their relationship.
Their relationship. And I love that. We're saying that, you know, even speaking about it, I don't know why, like I was so sad about hearing with your passing. I didn't even know who to talk about. People in Cape Town I didn't know anybody who could relate. So I had to make a few phone calls to the guys in Joburg and people like Tumi to be able to put into words what I was feeling, because it was hard for me to explain to my homies around in Cape Town, outside of like Rolo. Nobody else could immediately relate. So he was finding it difficult to put it into words and to say RIP. He didn't know who to reach out to the family to say, because he didn't have that close relationship with people. So to hear him depicted like that while still expressing just how sad it was, I think it was I don't want to say refreshing, but it was good to hear the honesty, the raw honesty of it, where he can like respect the art that he put down, but he didn't come out just saying we're trying to make a hype track about Ricky.
Sure. And you also mentioned DJ Dimples in there as well, which I thought was a nice little touch, because I guess it also kind of happened around the same time. And I think it's authentic, man. It's not like something you're gonna bump in the club, obviously.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those songs you're gonna bump in your car, you'll bump at home. You're just listening to the lyrics. It's about the lyrics.
Yeah.
It's not about anything else besides the message that he's putting into the song. Like you're mentioning his relationship with Ricky.
Yeah.
And because Youngster's such a good lyricist, he also put it together so well.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we can also kind of feel such empathy for him and feel empathy for the song, because it also just feels relatable. You
You know what's crazy? Remember I told you Ricky came to the station 5 days before? And the day when he asked me to MC for him, Dimples texts me, right? He's like, yo, are you gonna open a mosh pit? I'm like, maybe, you know what I mean? And then he's like, please come MC for me in Katlehong Cafe Flavia, right? I'm like, cool. He had his H1 fetch me from work.
Oh, shout out.
We hung out and he reminded me of the first time we met, which was when I was still at Vow FM. And he's like, he was looking at the pictures. 5 days later, he leaves us. It was so crazy because we were speaking about Ricky the whole time and how crazy this whole thing was. And even with Ricky, it was 5 days before. With Dimples, it was 5 days before as well.
Oh no.
Dude, like...
It really was,
Yeah,
and we spoke about it a lot, so it was hard to process at the time.
So hard to process, dude. And I MC'd Cotton Fest. I'm also MCing pop bottles for Dimples as well. So.
Absolutely, we're gonna be out there. Dimples, of course, showing love to him as well. That entire period was it just felt surreal. Just felt like we just woke up one day. It didn't even feel like the tragedy of it felt like I can't even describe it as tragic because it didn't feel. You know, like someone that doesn't an accident. Sometimes it hits you in your chest. And you're like, what happened? It was such, and I call it like a soft passing.
Yeah.
It seemed unreal. Like we literally just, it's like a click of a finger and they were just gone. And it seemed so unfair. It seemed like every time I spoke to somebody about it and they ask how are people feeling, and I'm like, I don't know.
That's the thing. Like
I don't know what
people will pick up the phone and they'll be like, "Are you okay? Both of your friends?" And I'm just like, I also don't know. Like I'm also still trying to make sense of what's happening.
Kamoli City Lights, like wow.
Do you know what I mean?
Like
so
week
everybody,
after week.
Everybody right now is just, I think everybody's numb. But after Cotton Fest, I also felt there was a little bit of energy where people were still like sad and emotional. But I think after Cotton Fest and after the tributes and after the performances, I think that's when people kind of had a bit of a woosah moment.
It was cathartic,
To basically say, okay, Ricky, we're going to let you go
we're going to
now.
release you.
Because I think there was a lot of like held tension. But after Cotton Fest, I think it's going to get a little bit easier.
Grieving is so weird.
Yeah.
it is, because it never actually stops. There's no end date to grief. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that there is acceptance. I remember I was speaking to this about an aunt of mine about grief, and she was like, there's no end date to it. You know, she was talking about, I lost my mom 40 years ago, but it still feels like it happened yesterday every time I think about it. Some days you can find yourself grief-stricken to a point where it feels like it happened right now. And some days you go days without thinking about somebody that you lost very long time ago. But there's no end date to it. There's only acceptance. I think for all of us who've lost people, no matter how close we were, whether it was from a distance or somebody very close to you, all there is acceptance and just trying to make sense of it personally, because maybe the more we talk about it, the more we get memories out from each person about how a certain person touched their lives.
That's true. What do we have next?
And of course, AREECE also dropped some new music, dropped an EP out, 12 tracks, A Burning Tree. I've given it a few spins. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to listen to
I haven't
anything from
listened to Reese yet.
Reese, first of all, I'm still bumping his project he released with his brother.
That's the one
which
still
was
on.
clean.
That was lovely.
Production put together. And I really, really think so far for me that's like the hip hop project of the year. I'll say to beats if people are getting competitive, whatever. But it's clean. It sounds really, really dope. And this one, I was listening to it and it had a very grunge, more mixtape feel to it. Didn't seem like something that he wanted to overthink. It's not like he was putting together like a project or maybe even throwaway tracks. from certain projects where you felt like, let me just share something with you?
It did feel very mixtapey, but I think that was the essence of it being called A Burning Tree. I also think it's also the essence of the theme around it. I really enjoyed it. There's a couple of tracks on there. There's the one with 25K that I also really dig.
Yes.
It's got a bit of a sample from Big Pimping. I dig that as well. And I can see the theme that he's kind of got on the mixtape, and I think it works really well with the beat production, the beat selection, sorry, as well as the features that he had gotten on there. It's straight up Aries, the Aries that you know and love, but also giving it just that twist to then speak about something else. You know what I mean? And give, well, not something else, I mean, but like to hone in on one specific theme for this one, I think was really dope.
I haven't heard Aries on the radio.
Aries on the radio is a tough thing.
He doesn't make radio edits.
Yeah, he doesn't make songs for radio, and you know how radio is in this not make songs for radio. Perhaps that's the wrong way of wording it. But it's very rare that you see him get playlisted on a lot of.
What about music videos?
popular...
I don't see a lot from him as well. Like
he drops with every project that he puts out. He always drops a couple of music videos.
He does do music videos. He does make impeccable music.
Yeah.
It's not that he doesn't make, he makes radio music, because every artist, if you've got a hit song, it's going to be
on the radio.
Played.
Right.
It's the radio edits, that's submission, that whole process that doesn't necessarily happen. And unfortunately, radio stations are very fickle about, did you submit? Oh, okay. And then they move on.
Yeah, that's true.
It seems, Aries is one of those guys that's kind of like does exactly what he wants to do. He's never really bothered by what
But
people...
I think also for him, I think he's never also wanted to live on radio. He's just like, I'll do the internet, I'm on.
Absolutely.
And
because I was having a
again,
debate.
traditional media, internet, where do you want to be?
Because I was speaking to someone because like we speak a lot about artists and say, why isn't this guy doing this? Why isn't this guy doing that? And it's like we never really ask the artists, what is it? Are they just happy with the way that they move? Because it's like, why aren't you submitting this way, shooting 10 music videos, tour every week? Like some people are like, maybe they've found happiness and comfort in the way that their careers have become. You know what I mean? You have a guy like J. Cole, for example, who's like, release one album, give it the attention that it deserves, disappears. And go, well, Kendrick Lamar, you know what I'm saying? People who like, they're going to control their narrative as much as possible, and whatever else we want them to do, they'll leave it out. I was listening to a comedian called Aziz Ansari, and he had, so he was speaking to, kind of who's the guy who made Channel Orange?
Frank Ocean.
Frank Ocean. And he was like, how do you do it? Like, how do you disappear? How do you stay quiet? And people, you're in demand. People want your face every week, but like, how do you stay, you know, it's like, why aren't you out all the time? And it's like, I'm gonna tell you the secret, and the secret is very simple. You have to be happy making less money. And it's like, what? It's like, that's it. Yeah, I'm happy making the money that I'm making. I don't want to make more money.
Wow.
It's like, oh, that's it. That's it.
That's
it's like,
very
yes.
easy.
It's like, I can be out every week doing so many things, but I don't want to do that because it makes me uncomfortable. And I am happy with the money that I'm making. I'm content. Anything else, I don't want any involvement. It's like, that's the secret that Frank Ocean told him.
Could never be me.
I
could never be me.
Because we're all about the divas.
I'm all about the divas.
And maybe at the end of the day, that's part of it. You're just thinking, I could. What's wrong? Aries could spend many of his times, much of his time, doing tours every week, releasing, jumping on everybody's song. And it's like, maybe people are just content with where their lives are. And some people are very introverted and don't want to be out every single week doing interviews.
Like Zucchi.
You know what I'm saying? And the world is kind of a bit of a harsh place. You know what I'm saying, to artists. First they love you, and then tomorrow they're attacking you. Sometimes just staying out of the spotlight brings you the peace that you feel like you know what, I'm actually happy doing what I want to do. Maybe I want to drop one project a year. Maybe I don't want to drop any project, but I'm fine. Don't worry about me.
Yeah, man. It is what it is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, Lula.
Thank you, guys.
Drop the M-O Diva.
Drop the M by mistake.
Thank you, guys. This was awesome. I want to come back soon.
Yes,
Absolutely. We're always happy to have return guests, and we wish you all the best, man, with everything that you're doing. Shout out to your MCing efforts at Cotton Fest. I'm sure they're amazing. I wish I was there to see it, but I'm hoping that I can get to see a lot of footage. Do you think they shot that thing like
Definitely,
movie
they shot
style?
the whole thing. They didn't want other people to bring their cameras. They said, we've got our cameramen. You will get the footage from us. So the production is going to be super clean. And you know, Ricky was always about the post-production as well, just to make sure that the imaging works out. So I think they were also being very strict about it to make sure that the imaging that they put out is what people see. Because you also don't want like weird things being posted about Confess. So I do think we're going to see a lot of footage from her, but we're also going to see her pop bottles.
Absolutely.
So please get your tickets. the tribute pop bottles is happening on the 1st of May, this Sunday.
Yeah.
So please come through and join us. We are showing love and support to DJ Dimples. Yeah, man, it's going to be a good one. I think us as the Popcast team, we're also going to be out there.
100%.
And maybe you'll be able to catch us. Maybe we'll be able to catch some of your memories with DJ Dimples. So come through and let's have some fun and celebrate in memory of.
Absolutely. What you just said is important. If you do see us out at Pop Bottles, please come say hi. We're walking around with some cameras, trying to capture some memories with people, as well as any memories you may have of Pop Bottles itself and Dimples, of course. It is a tribute show. So if you see us out there, come say what's up.
And we'll see Lula again.
Yes,
Absolutely.
sir. Thank you guys so much.
Where can people catch you?
Yes.
Just social media so that we can see those TikTok videos.
Those cringe ones.
Where can they catch the sex symbol, Lula?
It's at Lula Odiba everywhere. So LulaOdiba everywhere.
Shout out. Miss Cosmo?
Yes.
Umnat.
Man, I'm nice. I'm going to try and get my voice back, but I still got another week of groovers in
party
my system.
How old are you
never
now?
stops.
Don't ask me questions. We're back. As long as I'm still partying, like,
But as long as your age doesn't match your body temperature.
my body temperature is still
Hey, when they
very
scan
low.
you there, those little temperature things, your body,
I'm
your
still
age
okay.
mustn't be more than that temperature there.
What, 34, 35,
Ah.
37?
Then it's tricky there. I'm still a lacquer 21-year-old. Don't worry, I've still got a lot of energy in me. And the parties are going to be happening this weekend. But of course, we'll see you at Pop Bottles. That's the most important one happening
Absolutely.
this Sunday.
And
And
of course,
yeah, man, keep
real
on.
views coming up.
We've got real views. We do have what matters to Moochie. And of course, please keep on subscribing. Please like, comment. And yeah,
Share.
man, join us again next week. We've got a really awesome episode planned
Very
for next
special.
week. So make sure you join us next week as well.
We out.
Sweet Pete.
What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of What Matters to Moochie. And today, what matters to me is we speak a lot about supporting our friends, beautiful people. We speak a lot about showing our friends love, our friends' content love. Since we're all on the internet, everybody's a little tiny billboard. Everybody's able to help by a young repost, a like, nyana, comment, save, share, all these beautiful things that we know how to do. But sometimes we don't show people love, people who are close to us, and it has them wondering, why aren't people supporting me? Especially every up-and-coming artist, everybody who's still, bubbling under, trying to make through on the internet, because this coming from, again, I always get my stuff from a trigger that happens online, and some guy had posted his music. I think he was a DJ and he's mixing stuff, and he's not my friend, but the voice he had put on his mix said, was somebody asking a question, hey, people are always asking me, why haven't you blown up yet? Why haven't you blown up yet? When are you gonna blow up? And it's like, when are you gonna support me? When are you gonna download my mixes? When are you gonna repost my mixes? Which poses the question, what we want our friends who are bubbling under, who are about to come in the game, especially in the entertainment industry, because your friend who's an accountant, of course, you can't really support them by telling them, all you can tell is, have a good day at work, my brother. But for your friends who are in the entertainment industry, who put things out like content and music, like, why are you downloading my music? Are you sharing my music? Because the simple argument is always, I can listen to Jay-Z's music, but why can't I repost my friend Tapelo? I can say, oh my God, Beyonce just dropped a new a line of clothing, but why can't I support my friend who's also a designer and makes clothes? So I think it's very easy for us to show love to things that we've grown up with, to big celebrities, because it feels like it's natural. And we feel like, this person is big. I'm sure me saying I like Beyonce's Adidas line is not gonna help her, but that's how small things become big things. It takes all of us together to create these millions of sales. So we have to do those small things for our friends as well. Sometimes maybe your friend's design clothes aren't that dope. Sometimes maybe your friend's music isn't that dope. Maybe your friend's movie sucks a little bit, but and then you're thinking, oh, that's justifiable. I don't want to share content that I feel like maybe isn't dope. And you can tell yourself that, but also, how else is your friend supposed to grow? Because maybe their content might not be for you, but maybe it's for somebody else. So I think showing support to your friends out there who need something as small as a retweet, a repost, a like, is very, very dope, especially in this internet generations where these numbers are black and white to see. So people go in there, they won't listen to the mix that has 100 listens to it, but everybody will click on the one that has 1 million or 100,000, because they're like, oh, this must be something that's very dope. And that's how these things become seen, because a lot of people are interacting with them. So interact with some of your friends' content, show love to it, even if it's once in a while, even if it's not for you. Rale Kopa, Rare Rapella, that's what matters to Moochie. Yeah.
This is the real views on this week's episode of the POPcast. So for this week, I checked out a new reality show called The Ultimatum. Marry or move on. Why would anybody want to go on a show like this? I don't understand why people actually sign up for such rubbish. But anyway, from a production perspective, really clean. It's brought to you by the same people who actually put together Love is Blind. And Love is Blind had 2 successful seasons to the point where people keep coming back for more. They even watch the reunion episodes. They watch the episodes where it's a year later after the marriage, because it's just so mind-blowing to know that you married somebody that you didn't know, and you've only met them for about a month. You've gone down the aisle. You're going to commit yourself to this person and possibly even stay with them for the rest of your life. Completely crazy, but it works. So they call it a social experiment. So the next social experiment they've put together is the ultimatum, to say, would you get into a space where you are now on a retreat with other couples? Are you going to marry me, or am I going to move on with somebody else who's on this retreat? Why are you guys testing yourselves like this? Why do you go to TV shows like this? Not for me. But anyway, some people do it. Anyway, production, like I said, very clean. You definitely have to watch it. If you love just like that cringy reality TV that you just don't understand why it's happening, this one is for you. You'll binge watch it possibly in about 2 days, and you'll be mind boggled when you're done watching it. Check it out. Let me know.